Hey guys, welcome back for another reaction. Today I'll be checking out 5 genius German life hacks Americans have never seen before. I'm really curious what are those, so let's get into this.
When you're up to your eyeballs in German bureaucracy, you may think to yourself, Germans just make things way too complicated. But hold your horses, partner, because today we're going to share with you a few uniquely German life hacks that can simplify and bring more enjoyment to your life. I am Donnie, and along with my wife Aubrey, we are two Americans currently living in Germany with our baby, sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. Merriam-Webster defines a life hack as a usually simple and clever tip or technique for accomplishing some familiar task more easily and efficiently. And if there is one word that Germans are well known for, it is this one. Like the definition describes, this could be some process that takes a long time, and once you apply a life hack, it can help you do that process faster. Or a life hack could be simply something that just makes your life more enjoyable in a unique way, or helps things become more practical that normally are a waste. Now, a lot of hacks are universal, but in our 3 years of living in Germany, we have learned that Germans have developed a few unique life hacks that we had never seen before moving here. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today in our video. German life hack. Any other way is just whack. One of the very first German life hacks that we learned about when some of our viewers commented 2 years ago about our German sin of eating Knödel with Schnitzel was what I now call leftovers. So we've all been there. We got a little aggressive with the amount of bread that we bought and end up with some that is at risk of going bad before we can actually finish it all. So what do Germans do? You take the leftover bread and make Knödel. Knödel is often translated to dumpling in English, but I would just translate it as big boiled balls. To make Knödel, you take stale hard white bread, cut it up, soak that with hot milk, then mix with egg, herbs and spices, maybe some onion, and then you form those into giant balls. You then boil these balls and you have one of our favorite German side dishes. But oh my gosh. You're done eating your leftover bread creation and you accidentally made too many. Well, throw those in the fridge and save for another day, of course. But what do you do now that you have leftover Knödel that you don't want to eat? Well, maybe some people would throw out leftovers, but German life hack, make a different leftover creation out of that leftover creation, and according to the comment section on our channel, cut the Knödel into slices and fry them in the pan with butter, or alternatively add eggs and fresh chives, season with salt and pepper, and you have a German leftover breakfast of champions. Now, I don't know if this would finally be the end of the line for that old bread that was going bad, or if somebody has another hack to keep the cycle of recycling the leftovers into new leftover meal creations. But if you do, let us know in the comments.
That is so crazy. I did not know that you could do that. Like, make your leftover into something and then make your leftover into a different dish. What the heck? That is really, really smart. And yeah, sometimes I have so much bread and I was like, I do not know what to do with it. And then it just goes bad. And then I throw it away down the drain. I was like, oh, that's a waste of money. It always happened. I should maybe start doing it. Like the dumplings where you make it like into a bowl. That's actually really, really smart. Wow. Okay. Let's continue and see what is the other things that I could do. That's really, really nice.
I recently did a video about some strange things we found in our German home that we had never seen before, and I asked you guys to help us explain what they might be. One mystery that you helped solve were these random switches on the wall that didn't seem to do anything when we flip them on. I was just left under the impression that based on the appearance and the fact that nothing happened when they were switched on, that these were old remnants from some bygone era and didn't have any use anymore after years of updates and renovations of our house. However, these are actually a German life hack. So what do you do in the US when it's the evening time after a long day of work and the doorbell rings? You mute the TV, switch off the lights, duck and hide from all the windows so it looks like you aren't home and whoever is at the door will leave you alone. However, in Germany, as you walk in your house, throw off your shoes and stress from that long day, you flip this switch on your way in your house and it actually turns your doorbell off. Now, when your pesky neighbor wants to bother you during your evening glass of wine and a bubbly bath, your bell won't ring and they must leave you alone without you ever even knowing they were there. Or a practical use for us now, in the US we were used to seeing people put signs on their front doors saying something to the effect of, "Baby napping, please don't ring the bell." Well, German life hack, just switch the bell off with this switch and your baby won't be bothered. To be honest, we wouldn't have in a million years figured out that this was the use for these switches because this is something that we had never heard of or seen in the US. So for all our viewers that chimed in the comment section of our last video and taught us this very useful switch was a true German life hack, thank you. However, we literally still have neighbors that come and peek in our windows to see if we are home when we don't answer the doorbell anyways. But that's a story for a different day.
I actually never saw those things here, so I don't think I could use that hack, but it's really smart. So if ever I move or I go to Germany, maybe I could use that hack. But it's so funny that they peek on your window to see if you're at home. I didn't know that they would do that. That's creepy. I think. But yeah.
For this next life hack, look at this. This is actually the breakdown of where people are watching my videos from. As you can see, 70% come from Germany, Austria is 3.7%, and Switzerland is 1.6% of our audience. You know what that means? An overwhelming majority of you guys don't speak English natively, and I've even had a lot of you tell me you watch our videos to work on your English. Well, watching my videos will definitely help you with that, but life hack, the best way to do this is with the sponsor of today's video, Cambly. Cambly is an English learning platform where you get one-on-one lessons with native English speakers. 100% of Cambly. You can simply hop qualified tutor lessons in it with you. When Germans actually speak same way, I'm from below trial lesson. Now, this next life hack is honestly pretty specific to Germany because of the difference in grocery stores in the US versus in Germany. So this isn't really one that you can apply to your life if you live in the US, most likely. Now, we've all seen the memes and videos from foreigners talking about their culture shock moment when they went through the checkout line for the first time at a German grocery store and struggled to keep up with the blitzkrieg pace at which the checkout clerk scanned the goods and threw them down to be bagged. Well, maybe you can help clarify if this actually is a life hack or the opposite of a life hack, because in the attempt for maximum efficiency and checkout speed, a lot of Germans have learned to put half of their scannable goods at the front of the conveyor belt, then place their produce, and then the second half of their scannable goods in order to actually slow things down. So yeah, is this a life hack or the opposite of a life hack? Because the point of doing this is that halfway through scanning your goods, the clerk will be forced to slow down and weigh each produce item, which will give you time to catch up, putting your goods in your bags, thus possibly slowing things down and making things less efficient. No, this has to be a life hack, because if you put your produce at the end, this will keep your goods from getting squished. You might end up bottlenecking the checkout line as you try and play catch up at the end, bagging your goods at the same time as you need to be paying for your goods. Of course, for those of you wondering why this wouldn't really apply to anybody or help hack their life in, say, the US, well, as we've talked about in other videos, in the US you almost always have someone who is a bagger that is an employee of the grocery store and bags the groceries for you, and the team of baggers and checkout clerks usually do work a little bit slower paced than in Germany. So the order you put things on the conveyor belt will be more important for the order things go in the bag to protect squishable items versus an attempt to slow the process down.
I do hate like cashiers because I feel like they're so slow, so I just always use self-checkout. I mean, I'm sure I'm slower than them, but I like to like bag it myself. And I think I care about my stuff. Like, I know which one to put, like, in a variety, like something like fruit should be in just one bag, chips is in one bag, my sodas should be in just one bag. Like, I'm very particular. I don't like when stuff is messed up. I hate it. Like, I don't know. I'm really particular. So yeah.
Okay, you have your lunch before you. You have your bratwurst, and you scrape out the last bit of mustard from the jar to enjoy alongside it, and you go to grab a glass for your Spezi, but oh no, you don't have any more cups in your cupboard. What do? German life hack. The glass jars by Tommy are staples to every good German's cup cupboard as a drinking glass once they have finished a jar of mustard. Now, okay, every good Southern boy and girl in the US watching are now saying, wait, that's not at all unique to Germany because we all drink our sweet tea out of a mason jar. And okay, I hear you. I've been to the Southern chic weddings with the fancy
Oh
mason
yeah,
jars
yeah.
that everybody drinks out of semi-ironically. And yes, my Southern grandparents also taught us to never throw away a jelly jar because they can be used as a cup along with hundreds of other uses. However, I will say that these mustard jars in Germany are much better designed for drinking from than an old mason jar. Where a mason
How?
jar can act as a glass simply for the fact that it holds liquid, you still have the annoying screw top rim that isn't conducive to comfortable guzzling, whereas the mustard glasses in Germany are perfectly designed for drinking out of, and they literally tell you to do so on the packaging. I can also imagine,
Oh.
besides just older generations who have been trained to save everything and repurpose everything, who might use these glasses rather than throwing them away, I can also imagine young people just starting in the adult world not having a penny to spare who can slowly collect cups at home as they slowly finish mustard jars over time. Now, it would be
That is actually really, really smart. I don't need to buy glasses anymore. I'm just gonna use that. That is actually really smart. And it could save environment. Like, there's not so much glasses, you know? But yeah. What the heck? I didn't think of it that way.
interested in knowing from our German viewers, how many of these mustard jars do you currently have in your kitchen that you've slowly saved up through the years as free drinkware?
Yeah, I wonder how many.
So those are a few German life hacks that we have learned from Germans over the past 3 years of living in Germany. So I want to return the favor and teach Germans about a little life hack that I have discovered on my own while living here. This is something that I do believe that Germans should all implement into their lives, as it will greatly increase their quality of life. And for this, we need a cup of coffee and Milka Choco wafers. So years ago, Aubrey and I were traveling the world full time on a
Just gonna
gap
dip it.
year, I guess you could call it, and we went to Australia. Now in Australia, they have a famous snack called a Tim Tam, and the best
Tim
way
Tam,
to
yes.
enjoy a Tim Tam is by doing what is called a Tim Tam Slam. Well, in Germany, I present to you the Milka Wafer Käfer. Okay, the name is actually a work in progress still, and I'm open to suggestions in the comments below because I couldn't come up with a better rhyme. That's all I could come up with. But let me show you how this life hack works. You first open your Milka Wafer, obviously, the first step. So the Milka Wafer cookie, you will bite into one end of the wafer cookie,
Okay.
and you want it to be kind of a small bite. Don't bite down huge because you don't want to take too much of the cookie away when you're doing this. And then you're going to take another small bite, typically on the other end or a little bit onto the side. Smallish bite, that one can be a little bit bigger. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the cookie, you're going to submerge one side, then you're going to suck through the other side of the cookie.
What?
Then pull it out and enjoy the cookie.
That
So
is
essentially
actually
what we've
smart.
done is we have created a delicious chocolate cookie straw, and you'll suck the coffee up into the wafer cookie. And the reason why you need a piping hot cup of coffee is because the coffee will actually start to kind of melt and soften the inside wafers, but the chocolate won't actually melt immediately. It'll kind of act like it's a casing. And so what you'll end up doing is softening and infusing the wafer cookie with the coffee flavor, and then you have a delicious snack The chocolate wafers are already pretty good, but this will just up it way, way more to a whole new level that you've never experienced before.
Interesting.
And you're gonna love every second of it.
I should try this to my Oreos. I love Oreos. Like, I used to hate it. Not like really hate, but I just don't like it before. And then I start eating it after dinner. And then I start liking it. And then now I like it a lot. And I dip it with milk and it's yummy. But I don't think it's gonna work with this because I use it with cold milk. Is anyone doing that as well? Like, I just dip my Oreo with a cold milk and it's yummy. But yeah, that's actually smart what he's doing.
But if you give this a go, I would love to see how it goes and what you rate it. So take a picture and tag us on your Insta story or wherever you want to post it so I can see what you thought about the Milka wafer kafer. And also, if anybody has a
That's a
better,
long
more
name.
catchy name for it, let me know. To see who made it this far into the video, the random question of the week.
That was a really good video, and yeah, those things are really genius. Like, especially the first one, the leftovers. That was really, really shocking. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.